the secret behind lasting fortunes.
Do you think that fortune is built overnight? What if I told you that the greatest millionaires followed simple, consistent steps and completely ignored by most? Forget magic formulas. Forget shortcuts. In this video, you will discover how to build a real fortune, even starting with little. We will talk about real strategies, long-term mentality, intelligent reinvestment, and decisions that transform your entire life. And the last secret I will reveal to you is the most powerful of all. If you are looking for true financial freedom, stay until the end. This is where your journey begins.
Chapter 1. Wealth is no accident. It's architecture.
Most people believe that building a fortune is a matter of luck, of being in the right place at the right time. But this is a dangerous illusion. True wealth is planned. It is designed with discipline, built with vision, and sustained with strategy. In this chapter, we will deconstruct the idea of random success and reveal what is really behind a solid and lasting financial trajectory. Have you heard of the architecture of wealth? It is the invisible structure that supports every successful entrepreneur you admire. It is the principles, habits, and consistent decisions that over time transform small bricks into financial empires. No great building is built without a blueprint. The same goes for your financial life. And this blueprint begins with a clear mindset, the understanding that time is your most powerful ally. Those who build wealth know that decisions made today have an impact on the next 10, 20, 30 years. It is not about getting rich quickly, but about getting rich consistently. Strategic patience is one of the most neglected virtues in modern entrepreneurship, and also one of the most powerful. A common mistake among beginners is to seek immediate results without building the right foundations. They want to make money quickly, but they ignore the pillar of financial education, the foundation of risk management, and the concrete of profit reinvestment. The result? Failure in a short time. Successful entrepreneurs think like engineers. They build to last. Great names like Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, and Jorge Paulo Lemann didn't just create wealth. They designed entire ecosystems of value generation. They knew that wealth doesn't come only from what you earn, but from how you organize your life around solid financial principles. What do they have in common? A plan, a long-term vision, and disciplined execution. You can even start small, with a simple business, a modest capital, an idea still in development. But if you are clear about where you want to go and committed to each step of the process, your journey will be solid. The secret is not in the size of the beginning, but in the firmness of the construction. This architecture of success also includes something essential: reinvestment. True entrepreneurs know that all profits need to be recycled into new opportunities, training, innovation, and growth. They do not consume profits, they transform them into fuel for the next stage. Another fundamental point is knowing how to manage risks. This does not mean avoiding them, but rather anticipating them, studying them, and controlling them. Great fortunes are not built by those who never make mistakes, but by those who know how to protect what they have built when mistakes appear. One of the most powerful pillars of this architecture is the power of constancy. Imagine that every day you lay a brick with focus, planning, and knowledge. Over time, you will have an insurmountable wall. But if you stop halfway, if you give up at the first obstacle, your castle will fall to ruin. Consistency is what separates dreamers from builders. In this video, we will show you step by step how to apply these concepts to your own life. And the journey begins here, with this first pillar: understanding that you are the architect of your fortune. Don't outsource this power. Don't wait for luck, miracles, or ideal circumstances. Get the plans, start building your pillars, and take control. In the next chapters, we will explore the practical strategies that successful entrepreneurs use to consolidate their assets, expand their businesses sustainably, and make the wealth they build continue to grow even when they sleep. Keep watching, because the last secret of this journey is the most powerful one: and it can completely transform your view on money, time, and freedom.
Chapter 2. The formula for sustainable growth: profit, reinvestment, and time.
One of the biggest under-the-radar secrets of successful entrepreneurs is that they know what to do with the money they earn. It may seem obvious, but it isn't. Earning money is just the first step. True wealth comes from how that money is used over time. What sets an ordinary entrepreneur apart from someone who builds a solid fortune is the reinvestment mindset. Instead of spending everything on status, comfort, or immediate rewards, the wise entrepreneur constantly reinvests in the business, in knowledge, and in assets that generate value. Many entrepreneurs make the mistake of thinking that profit is the final destination. But profit is just fuel. It must be converted into more growth, more structure, more authority in the market. This is the formula for sustainable growth: profit plus reinvestment plus time, that's wealth. Let's use a simple example. Imagine a business that makes $10,000 per month in profit. An entrepreneur who reinvests 50% of this profit over 5 years in the right strategies, such as improving products, training the team, investing in paid traffic, or creating new sales channels, will see this value multiply naturally, without depending on luck. Now compare it to someone who takes 100% of the profit and lives on the edge. When a crisis hits, and it always does, he has no cash, no structure, and the business collapses. This is not building a fortune. It is an illusion of stability. Reinvesting requires long-term vision and discipline. It is choosing to plant instead of harvesting before time. And this is exactly what the greatest entrepreneurs in the world do. They do not live only in the present. They live in the present with their eyes on the future. And this future is built with good decisions repeated daily for years. There is no glamour in this, but there is real freedom. Another key piece of this equation is time. There is no point in reinvesting for 2 or 3 months and expecting miracles. Building a fortune requires mental stamina to stay in the game for years, even when results take time. Time works like an amplifier. It turns a good strategy into a great victory and a bad decision into a great loss. Therefore, each decision must be made with strategic vision and patience. And here's a powerful tip. Those who understand the power of reinvestment and time don't need to chase after amazing opportunities. The business itself, if well managed, becomes the best enrichment machine there is. It's no wonder that great entrepreneurs say that the best investment is in what you know deeply. If you have a business and understand your market, reinvesting in it is much safer and more profitable than trying to guess what will happen with a trendy stock or an uncertain cryptocurrency. Another essential point is reinvesting in yourself. Your personal growth directly impacts the growth of your business. Learn new skills, participate in mentoring, read strategic books, study business models that work. The entrepreneur who grows is the entrepreneur who gets rich. And of course, maintain control and financial intelligence. Without control, money escapes. Without intelligence, it is poorly allocated. Both are pillars to ensure that profit is always a starting point, never an end point. To conclude this chapter, remember, building a fortune does not depend on a single moment of luck or a big client. It comes from the ability to reinvest consistently, to understand the game of time, and to make the right choices with the profit you already have. You may not see the fruits at first, but after a few years, what seemed small becomes a true prosperity machine. And when others realize it, it will be too late to achieve it, because you had the courage to think long-term while others were running after shortcuts.
Did you like these strategies to achieve financial freedom? Then leave a like and subscribe for more content that will transform your life.
Chapter 3. Automation and Scalability. How to multiply. Results with less effort.
If profit and reinvestment are the engine of growth, then automation and scalability are the turbo that allows a business to advance with speed and consistency. Successful entrepreneurs know that it's not just about working more, it's about working better, with a focus on optimization and replication. Automating means creating systems and processes that work with minimal human intervention, allowing you to focus on strategic decisions. Scaling means replicating these processes efficiently, generating more results with the same or even less effort. Many entrepreneurs get stuck in operational tasks because they don't trust the processes, don't train people, or don't invest in technology. The result? They become bottlenecks in their own business, preventing growth. Now think about businesses that really thrive. They all have automated routines, well-defined flows, and systems that work even when the owner is not present. This is not luck, it's planning. Automation starts with an honest analysis. What tasks do you perform that could be performed by someone else, a tool or a system? From customer service, lead generation, financial control, scheduling posts or issuing invoices, all of this can be automated with affordable tools. One of the most powerful strategies is the use of digital marketing tools such as automatic sales funnels, scheduled campaigns, and sequential emails. They continue selling for you while you sleep, literally. Another point is strategic hiring. By assembling a team with well-defined roles and clear processes, you create a structure that grows efficiently. The secret is to document processes and train people to execute them with excellence. This way, your team does not depend on your presence to function. Scaling also requires that your business model be replicable. In other words, that it can be multiplied in new regions, new audiences, or digital formats without losing quality. Franchises, information products, brand licensing, and online courses are examples of highly scalable models. And the key question here is, how can you deliver more value to more people while maintaining or even increasing your profit margin? The answer lies in the combination of automation plus scalability. Together, they create an environment for accelerated but sustainable growth. But be careful. It's not about growing at any cost. Many businesses scale quickly and collapse because they don't have a solid foundation. So always start small, optimize, validate the model, and only then accelerate. Scaling a mistake is worse than standing still. Successful entrepreneurs know that smart growth happens through testing, adjustments, and continuous improvement. Automating and scaling doesn't mean giving up supervision. It means taking on the role of strategist, no longer the executor. The challenge here is in the mindset. Many entrepreneurs pride themselves on doing everything themselves, but that's a trap. True success lies in building something bigger than yourself, a system that works, grows, and thrives with or without your direct presence. If you want to build a fortune over time, you need to understand that you can't rely solely on your time, energy, and presence. You need processes, people, and tools working together toward a clear goal. To close this chapter, think about the following. Every successful business you admire today only got to the top because they knew how to automate what could be automated and scale what worked well. They didn't reinvent the wheel every day, and they created a machine that runs on its own. The question now is your business prepared to run without you? If the answer is no, then that's the next step on your journey. Automate what's possible, create efficient processes, delegate with confidence, and prepare the ground for scaling. Because true fortune doesn't depend on how much you work today. It depends on how much you build today to consistently reap tomorrow, with less effort and more strategy.
Chapter 4. Building Income-Generating Assets, the Silent Path to Wealth.
While many are focused only on immediate revenue, truly successful entrepreneurs understand the difference between active work and passive income generation. And this is where a watershed emerges, building assets that work for you. Assets are anything that puts money in your pocket, even when you're not directly involved. Structured businesses, franchises, rented properties, digital products, royalties, dividend-paying stocks. These are various forms of assets that generate constant, predictable, and cumulative income. Creating real wealth is not about earning more to spend more. It is about using the money you earn to acquire or build assets that pay you forever. This is the difference between always chasing money and living with financial freedom. And this concept needs to be an essential part of your entrepreneurial mindset. Many business owners never get out of the rat race because they reinvest everything only in the operation, forgetting to create sources of income that do not depend on time and continuous effort. Let's understand with an example. A professional who makes a good income from providing services can invest part of their profits in a digital product, a course, an ebook, an automated mentoring program. This product becomes an asset, which once created can be sold infinitely with little or no additional cost per unit. The same goes for those who build a strong brand, capable of being licensed or even sold in the future. The value of a e-business is not only in current profits, but in the ability to generate revenue in the future without depending on your constant presence. Therefore, think beyond what you sell today. Think about what you are building for the future. Does your business have the structure to be an asset? Or is it just a job disguised as a CNPJ? Investing in assets requires patience, discipline, and long-term vision, but the return is transformative. Imagine waking up every day knowing that your money and your structures are working for you. This peace of mind is priceless, and it is completely possible when you change your focus to building smart sources of income. Investing in assets requires patience, discipline, and long-term vision. But the return is transformative. Imagine waking up every day knowing that your money and your structures are working for you. This peace of mind is priceless, and it is completely possible when you change your focus to building smart sources of income. The world's greatest entrepreneurs build empires based on this mindset. They start by operating, but then quickly direct their energy to creating products, platforms, technologies, intellectual property, things that continue to generate value over time. A good asset has three characteristics: low maintenance requirements, high potential for scale, and recurring returns. When these three forces combine, you have a silent wealth generator that continues to produce even in difficult times. This doesn't mean you're going to stop working. It means that your efforts will increasingly be directed towards strategic construction rather than constant operational execution. It's a change of level, leap from executor to system creator. The big challenge here is to resist the temptation of quick wins. Many abandon good asset projects because they don't bring immediate returns. But assets work like seeds. They take time to grow, but when they bloom, they sustain an entire forest. And that's the real secret to lasting fortunes. It's not about how much you earn per month. It's about how many assets you've built that will continue to pay you, even if you stop working. In your long-term entrepreneurship plan, you need to map out which assets you can create or acquire. This could be a line of products with your own brand, a monetized digital channel, a licensed system, or even financial investments. The important thing is that you have diverse sources of income, protecting your future against market fluctuations. And here's a powerful tip: create assets based on your knowledge. What you know how to do well can become a book, a course, a community, a franchise. When you package your knowledge and transform it into something sellable, you create a value engine that no one can take away from you. Build assets, nurture them, optimize them, and let them be the solid foundation on which your fortune will be sustained. Because true freedom comes when money works for you and not the other way around.
Want to achieve wealth and freedom? Start now. Leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next tips.
Chapter 5: Wealth that Lasts. Legacy, Succession, and Generational Freedom.
Building a fortune is not just about accumulating money, it's about creating a legacy that continues to generate value even when you're no longer around. And to do that, you need to think like great visionaries do, with a long-term mindset that goes beyond your own lifetime. Many entrepreneurs build profitable businesses but fail to plan what will happen to what they've created. Without a succession plan, an adequate legal structure, or strategic thinking, everything that was built with effort can collapse in a single generation. True financial freedom isn't just yours, it's the freedom you provide to future generations. This requires preparation, education, and a vision that connects money, purpose, and values. The first step to building a lasting fortune is to separate your personal and business assets. Formalize, register, and protect your assets. Use legal structures that ensure that your wealth will be preserved redistributed and leveraged intelligently. Then, educate those who come after you. Teaching about finance, business, and growth mindset is as important as leaving material assets. What truly sustains a legacy is knowledge, not just capital. Large families around the world have maintained wealth for generations because they have clear principles, well-defined rules, and above all, they raise heirs with an entrepreneurial mindset, not just consumers of wealth. Another essential point: create systems that work with or without your presence. A good business needs documented processes, trained leaders, and autonomy to operate even when you are absent. If your company depends exclusively on you, it will still be fragile. Think like an architect. You are not just constructing a building, but designing a structure capable of withstanding time, the market, and generational changes. And this is only possible when you take your focus off the present and start thinking 10, 20, 50 years ahead. It is also important to understand that the legacy does not need to be just family. Its impact can be social: founding an institution, supporting causes, reinvesting part of the profits in transformative projects. True fortune is that which improves the world around you, and not just your bank account. And here comes an often overlooked factor: time. Building something that lasts requires patience, strategy, and endurance. You need to go through the stages of growth, from scarcity to comfort, from survival to prosperity, without losing discipline and focus. Many give up halfway because they want results in months, but real fortunes are forged over decades, with emotional intelligence, consistency, and clarity of purpose. This is the difference between quick money and solid wealth. When you understand that your entrepreneurial journey is also a mission of impact, everything changes. You stop acting only for quarterly goals and start building with a vision of posterity. And this change in mindset is what separates the momentarily rich from the true millionaires. The legacy starts today. Every decision you make, how you spend, invest, manage, teach, is shaping the future of something bigger than yourself. Your company, your family, your brand, your contribution to the world. And remember, the greatest legacy you can leave is not money, but the ability for someone to generate their own money. That is real freedom. That is empowerment. That is transforming lives once fortunes come and go, but well-built ideas, principles, and systems endure. Your mission is to be the founder of something that will continue to grow even when you are no longer around. Something that carries your vision, your values, and your essence. That is the true measure of success. And that is the fortune worth building.
It's time to stop thinking only about the present and start building tomorrow. Every step you take today is shaping the legacy you will leave. Entrepreneurship is more than just creating a business. It's about creating freedom, impact, and permanence. It doesn't matter where you started, but where you are willing to go with discipline, vision, and courage. Great fortunes are born from conscious and consistent decisions over time. And you have everything you need to be part of this minority that transforms dreams into lasting reality. Act today as someone who is already building for the next generation. Your legacy starts now. Your journey to fortune too.